He's so grumpy. Good morning. Good morning, my patrons, seekers, humans, heroes, angels, witches, immortals, mystics, gods, goddesses, and Balthazar. Yay! Leo Kitty, go later. He's so grumpy this morning. But he had to sit on my lap because that's what he does. Good morning, everybody. On Patreon, no, I'm not snapping my fingers and making it appear over my head. It's not that kind of video. Good morning, my patrons, and everyone on YouTube and elsewhere, wherever this video ends up going. It is Sunday. What is today? Today's the 18th, December 18th. And as sometimes, not always on Sundays, we make these public so that the rest of the world can experience the magnificence. That is patreon.com/join the circle. I'm in a good mood. I woke up in a good mood. It was a busy week. We'll get into it. But just, like I say on every single video I do on YouTube nowadays, here is the unlisted, which will soon be made public, YouTube live stream link so my patrons can chat with me. So what are we going to do? We're going to talk about today's astrological weather, magical applications, spiritual implications, and all of that. Because it's Libra into Scorpio Moon today, which means very soon we will be heading into Dark Moon in Sagittarius. Dark Moon is the 3 days before New Moon, the death before rebirth. Considering the week that I've had, I think I might be ready for it. It was a very, very powerful, very, very busy week. Waning moon, letting go, releasing, shadow work, all of that personally. And those 8-card draw shadow reads I do, the waning moon reads that I do, I apply them to myself. So do understand, I'm doing the work. I'm not just, doing it on camera and then forgetting about it. No. Particularly because a dear friend of mine from high school that I had not seen in a very long time, though was a part of an incredibly large circle of friends, crossed over earlier this month. No one stays in this body forever. Words of the genius and rather gorgeous Jim Morrison. No one gets out of here alive or close to. I'm not a direct quoter. I'm a perennial. What's the word? Paraphraser. Perennial paraphraser. Bad name for a band. Alliterative though. On Thursday was the funeral in Huntington, where I used to live and where I used to be married to a guy back in the early 90s. It was a busy Thursday with everything else going on. Was glad to go, knew I had to. My soul was speaking to me. This is not going to get too personal because I'm not naming that many names here. Privacy and all of that. But I was up at 5 a.m. on Thursday, went food shopping, made sure the cats were okay, knew I was going to be gone all day, met with a friend. In my line of business as a professional witch, it's like friend, brother, sister, student, client. The boundaries are set as needed as we go. But a very, very wonderful witch friend of mine gave me a box full of magic, miracles, and mysticism, including 6 statues. So it was amazing. We met at the Golden Coach Diner, where I used to have breakfast pretty much every Sunday with my husband at the time. 10,000 years ago in the Cenozoic era. That's not accurate, I'm sure. If it's exactly 10,000, no, the Cenozoic era, millions. Right, yeah, okay, just checking. spirit guides. So it was, so that part of the day I called, because I have a Toyota RAV4, the Toyota RAV4 time machine. And it was traveling up and down, turn one corner. It was, 20 years ago. My parents, when they were married, when I was born, lived in Huntington Station. So it's this little like odd timeline. Pillars of Light in Huntington, Body, Mind, and Soul, across from the Walt Whitman Mall. I have quite a history. Lightmare on Elm Street, if you know what I'm talking about, next to the Bombori. I have so many. That's why I have to write my autobiography just about my career. It fucking reads like fiction. Anyway, so you can imagine sliding back and forth on the timeline, trying to stay present, and going to a funeral. Well, so we did lunch. I've got this ticking box of magic in my RAV4 time machine. So I go to the funeral home. For some reason, I thought it was 2 o'clock. It was 3 o'clock. But I'm like, all right, there are no mistakes when it comes. I start every day with prayer. And by the way, doing this with my patrons on Patreon, as my patrons know. And they heard a lot of this already, but this one's going public. So I'm not going to tell the whole story because it's a lot. But so I was there an hour early, and the guy was like, oh, yeah, no, you can sit. So I did. It was pouring rain outside. Meanwhile, out in my car in the parking lot, I've got statues of gods and goddesses in a box wrapped it. They're not happy. They're like, can we go home? I'm like, yeah, we'll get there. Tick, 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 tick. So I sat there, and though I was not tired, I was like, let's just check in, right? So, this is what I do in public. I pray and meditate in public all the time. Open eye, closed eye, doesn't matter. I'm a freaking archangel. I can do whatever I want. I got billions of eyes. I'll close a fraction of them. So just kind of sitting there, making sure I shift my body deliberately every minute or so people don't think I'm passed out or asleep. Because, you're in public. And I'm just praying, right? And I'm doing Ho'oponopono and whatever, breath work, the whole 9 yards. And, I can feel the energies moving as I'm like clearing the space around me and blessing outwards, right? It's like you start within, open that heart, by the way, loaded down with magical jewelry, practically from head to toe. Because, funeral home with an empath. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's stay grounded in my own energy field. So anyway, I don't know how much time goes by, but I hear the funeral director at some point say, oh, no, it's fine. The room's not open yet, but there's already somebody waiting over there. I'm like, okay, I can feel somebody's coming my way. I open my eyes. And there is one of my girlfriends, and I don't mean romantic girlfriends. I came out of the closet junior year of high school, 1984, about that for a Eurythmics reference. And the very, very woman that introduced me to the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, boom, which is my favorite tarot deck. And I'm not going to mention names and all of that there, but also a Virgo. And I you get struck dumb or dumbstruck. Play with that, moonstruck. Snap out of it. Seeing her, it's not that my heart stopped. It was just such a lightning bolt, like the Tower card, but in the best possible way. And she said my name, and I said hers, and right, the wings came out, went around both of us. Right, it was amazing. And the day just went on from there. I mean, it was very, very. The funeral itself was intense, but most of the time I sat there. Virgo pose, which means my legs were crossed, in just silence and prayer and blessing everybody, not trying to manipulate the energy of the room, but drawing down as much. Love is divine power. Carolyn May's Heart Chakra chapter, Anatomy of the Spirit. So I'm just like, and it was easy to do. As people, I had not pictures everywhere, talk about a time travel day, right? Yet somehow staying present, right? It was quite the balancing act, but it was wonderful. And so met spouses and children of people that I used to party with very hard in the 80s with in Boston, in Bayshore, just all over. So it was quite the day. Now, this is all leading up to today's stuff. This just isn't me, talking about what happened to me. But at some point, my guides are like, okay, kid, time to go. And I have that. I always know when to leave the party. I don't always know why. Sometimes never. Sometimes immediately after I see why. This was one of those. So, I make my rounds, say goodbye. Feeling the ticking of the magic in my time machine, my RAV4 time machine. Literally go outside, get in the car, close it, put my key in the ignition. It starts to rain. I was like, thank you. You guys are amazing. And 5 minutes later, another dear female friend of mine who I will not name, she walked in, which I saw 24 hours later. So it was a very, very busy weekend. And this is what we call life review. Life review, particularly when things retrograde, and Mercury retrograde's coming on the 29th. Today is the day to find that balance. First part of the day, Libra moon, right? Just open that heart, right? Be fair. It's Sunday, the day of healing, the day of success, the day of, the sun, enlightenment, even if you want to go there. And just like pray, meditate, Tai Chi, yoga, groove out. There is this show on Netflix. Look, after dealing with people's souls all day long, I don't sit there and watch reruns of the McNeil Lehrer Hour. You know what I mean? There's this anime series on Netflix, Super Crooks. The opening title, theme song, the song's called Alpha. It's so good. So, I've been using that to sort of jam to get my energy going. But essentially, the chorus is, let's get connected. It's really, 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 really good. So that was the theme. And so moving forward into this day, to look at Libra moon, your one-on-one relationships with people, the lead and the gold, we are in the shadow side of it, to at least be fair. And the people, because if you're seeing hate in the outside world and there are individual people in your life that you just hate, and everybody's got that, except the Dalai Lama, you got to cut slack for people who've chosen that contract, right? To really, be fair and tell yourself things like, well, it's not really the person, they're possessed by a pattern of pain, and who the fuck hasn't been? And when we're possessed by a pattern of pain, we don't know it. It is being possessed. And then afterwards, if we get there, we say, I don't know what came over me, or I wasn't myself. Well, isn't that the language of someone who's been possessed by something? And that is called shadow possession. And darlings, the moon's going into Scorpio tonight. On a day of healing, right? So use the first part of this day to nail what you can on the inner, right? Balance, love. You can love the part of yourselves that hate, because it's all just fear anyway, and fear is an absence of love, not a thing unto itself, any more than shadow is a thing. Shadow is not a thing, it is an absence of light. An absence, when illusion is the absence of truth, and illusion is not actually anything. So, yeah. Yet, how many illusions are we under? How about the illusion that we're all separate from each other? The illusion of separation. Well, guess what? Yule is Wednesday. Are you kidding me? Winter solstice. In the way I teach it, 8 chakras, 8 sabbats, counting the 8th chakra over the head. We start again at Yule. We've been in Samhain, 8th chakra, which has been, come on, with what I just told you about going on, right? That 8th chakra, out of the body, higher self, home of the archetypes, the satellite. We start at Yule again in the root, but it's not the root from last year, right? All of this shifts down, whole new bottom line. And the sacred truth of the root chakra, Carolyn Mace, Anatomy of the Spirit, root chakra chapter, all is one. That's the only way we're going to get through this. And, does everybody on planet Earth need to sign off on that? I don't know. But I know it's always been a relatively small percentage of the human race that has been able to tip the balance. 100th monkey, if that's actually a thing. I didn't see the YouTube video and the scientific proof about the 100 monkeys, whatever, 101 monkeys. Or is that Dalmatians? I don't know. Please don't make me do math. But to jump quantum timelines and all that stuff, after the days that I have spent this past week opening my heart, looking back, sort of like a pre-retrograde preparation for the retrograde, I'm ready, I hope, because I've got such a busy schedule. I've got clients. I'm doing like 4 YouTube videos today so I can get the 5-card draws, which are my favorite. They're going to hit the new moon, 2 full, plant a seed, watch it grow, whatever you want to call it, reads, spell kit reads, fire, earth, air, water, spirit cards. Get as many of those done as I can, have as much fun as I can, because then I've also got a Yule spell cooking on the Google Docs. And then, of course, we've got a new moon in Capricorn. A day or 2 later? There's a lot. And then working Christmas Eve, driving up to Saratoga Christmas Day. Well, afternoon, I'm going to feed my cats and then head up. And then drive back on Thursday, the 29th, Mercury retrograde. I said, that makes sense. Let's drive home. Let's drive home. The return trip on a Mercury retrograde. And then going to see what happens next. Parties, New Year's Eve. I have no idea. I have no problem with staying home by myself with the cats on New Year's Eve, because I am one busy professional witch. So the videos, I will do my best to make sure on YouTube that I put out 1 video a day to some extent, whatever I can. Particularly when I'll be traveling. Obviously, I really don't want to be reading tarot cards while I have like a period of time to be with, well, my parents, I call them Zeus and Hera, right? Up on Olympus to hang with them, and rest and rejuvenate myself. But that doesn't mean I can't make reels or this or that and go to Magic Moon and see Veronica and the staff there at Saratoga Springs. So it's the freaking holidays, folks. We made it this far. We're almost at the end of the year, and the birth of the sun, well, it's not the rebirth, it's the birth of the sun. At Beltane, the Sun Lord impregnated the Earth Lady, the god impregnated the goddess. And actually, if you do the math on that, you're like, wait, that's not 9 months, because it actually happened at Ostara. They got married at Beltane. That tells you something. 9 months later, here we are at Yule. And I'm ready for it, I guess. I'm not going to have the hubris, deadly sin of the root chakra, to say, I know exactly what's going to happen. Oh, don't. Don't. No, grant me the maiden grace. The maiden grace of humility to know that I do not know, but I'm willing to be shown. The gateway grace of humility opens up a lot of doorways, inner and outer, for us in innocence. And that is the innocence of the child. And, the sun, S-U-N, S-O-N, pick your spelling, your metaphor, your tradition, your spiritual religio lenses to interpret that through. Have at it. But we're in the darkest part right before it reboots. Reboot! I know that just triggered a bunch of people from the 90s. It's okay. Breathe. So let's end this with a little prayersy-waresy, a little blessing, right? A little something to send us on our way. And it is, you see why this is my favorite way to start the day. Well, this is my second gigantic cup of wonder coffee. So, Themyscira Dark. Oh, can DC team up with Starbucks and have because I have Sumatra, Colombia, Riffraff, Colombia, Themyscira. I want the Themysciran blend. Oh, dear God, goddess, all that is. Keep your sense of humor today. It's a good day for it. Even if it's just on the inside. Oh, yeah, I'm laughing in here. Please take a nice deep breath. And why not? It's Sunday. If you can, if you're not driving, check in with your physical body. Close your eyes if you like. Nothing like a little half and half cough in the morning. Any place feels tight, tense, holding on. Just do what you got to do to get physically comfortable. like you're going to be sitting in a theater, right? And make sure you're settled in. And eyes open or closed. I'm just going to keep them closed for a little bit. Focus on your breath. Nothing fancy unless you want to. Got those ocean sounds playing, which have really become the persistent, consistent soundtrack of my life as a Pisces moon. And just relax. There's certain areas of your body only you can give permission to relax. Sometimes it takes a pat on the back or a hug or a neck rub, a shoulder shrug, a massage, a shower, But Moon in Libra, internal balance. Find that center place inside of you, the place that feels like center. The still point in the center of the scales. Give it some air. Excuse me. Still cleaning out that head cold, I guess. So bring that into balance in the still point. And as you do that, just relax. I'm going to offer this prayer. I call upon our collective pantheons of the divine, our guides, masters, teachers, gods, goddesses, saints, angels, totems, healers, ancestors, higher selves, all the way back to the divine singularity, the Tao without name, the pregnant void, the mother of all, source, whatever we want to call it, the X variable of all of it, to surround each and every one of us today in a force field of light, anyone who's watching live or later. That force field of light containing and protecting our energy field, so we can know that anything that makes it through that velvet rope had the password, had the stamp on its hand, was meant to come in. And I do mean physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, astrally, intuitively, all chakras, all timelines, all overtones, all timelines, that we may be the best that we can be today. Be balanced, be fair, be funny, be flat, be sharp, be minus. And feel the love that is the truth of who we are, even if it's silently. Although with the Sagittarius sign, that might get verbalized in lots of cool ways too. So take us by the hand, walk us through this day, step by step. Show us what you would have us do, where you'd have us go, what you would have us say, and to whom, because what do we know? Oh, we think we do. But what do we truly know? We still think the sun rises in the east and sets in the west when the planet turns on an axis. Boom. So though we do need our stories, we do need our things to believe in, like the Hog Father, Santa, Dominic the donkey. And it is that time of year. And our internal and external are about to get the solar reboot at Yule, and then a new moon. That's a lot. And that's a lot of darkness before the dawn. So take us by the hand today. May we love freely, even if silently. And if we're out there in the world dealing with, let's just say, shopping, that covers a lot. May we navigate our way through this wisely and well, opening doors for people, smiling like this if necessary, making ourselves laugh, being the light that this world needs, because that's what's at our core anyway. And I do not mean the hills are alive with the sound of music kind of light, because that was never my gig. But certainly that we can draw down when we need to draw down and evoke from the core of who we are, the unity of the truth of who we are, still from that 8th chakra place, still from the satellite, still from the JLA watchtower, if you want to go there, but that we can beam down the codes, the kindness, the care, the compassion, to prepare, just like Mother Earth is about to give birth, which also rhymes. Take us by the hand. And may this be the best day that we've ever had, but not the best day that we'll ever have, because every day is a winding road, and we get a little bit closer, so saith the wisdom of the crow, for the well-being of all, and with harm to none, as we will it. So let it be done. So let it be. And so it is. Ow. All right, almost 30 minutes. I'm trying to do a 30-minute, morning talk show, but you got to cut in commercials, which there aren't any. So there, commercial-free rock, baby, commercial-free Mel. Have a wonderful day. Oh, I have to go get on camera again, but on the HD. A little different with this. I love you all. I hope that you like this if you're watching this on YouTube or elsewhere, wherever it may end up. I do hope you enjoyed it, and happy holidays. You do you. But remember, we're going into dark moon. Oh my God, in Sagittarius. Yeah. I love you. Have at it. Hang in there. And my patrons, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Hail, farewell, mwah, and blessed be. Bye.